This video will be discussing the concept of limits insofar as it is applicable to mathematics. Okay, what do you mean by limit insofar as mathematics is concerned? Now, we've seen that there are various functions, which we've been kind of looking at. Let's say there's a function fx is equal to x square. Okay. Now, what is a limit? Limit basically is used to describe a value. Value means an answer that a function, which is something like this, or a sequence approaches as the input. Now, what is the input? Input is basically this variable x approaches some value, right? So what does this mean? Let's say we say that x approaches the value of 0. This is written as like this: x approaches 0. X approaches 0. Now, as x will start moving towards 0, the value of the function is also going to become close to 0. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say you have f3, you have f2, you have f1, you have f, let's say 0.01. Then given that fx is equal to x square, x is equal to 3 here, f3 will be what? 3 square or 9. f2 will be equal to 4, f1 will be equal to 1, and f.01 is again going to be 1, 1, 2, 3, 0.001. So what we see is that x, as the value of x moves towards 0, the value of the function, also known as y, also moves to 0. Now, what we saw was that the value, obviously x is moving towards 0. Now, the movement of 0 can be by two ways. One, from positive numbers which are greater than 0, right? So like we took here 3, 2, 1.01, and the others could be less than 0 as well. So let's say we have minus 0.01, minus 1, okay, minus 2, minus 3. Again, in this particular function, if you will compute the value of these functions also, let's say you compute f minus 3, that is again going to be equal to minus 3 square, which is 9. Again, therefore 1, 0.001. So f minus 2 is equal to this, f minus 3 is equal to 1, f minus 1 is equal to 1, f minus 0.01 is equal to this. Again, what do we note here? As the numbers move from negative to 0, again the value comes closer to 0. Similarly, here also, as the numbers, the value of x decreases from 3 to 0, the value of the function also becomes closer to 0, right? So this concept, right, this value which is used to describe the value of the function as the input, which is the input of the variable, it approaches some value, in this case 0, is known as the limit. And this is written as limit of the function fx is equal to x square as x approaches 0, right? If you write it in technical terms, you don't use these words. So you say that as x approaches towards a number, whatever that might be, let's say x moves towards a, where a is a real number, fx moves towards, let's say, L, where L is the limit. So limit is the value of the function, or in other words, the value which a function moves towards as the variable or the input moves towards a particular value. Now, this is insofar as the technicals is concerned. Now what does this actually mean? What does this mean? So let's draw a graph here and see how does this value fare out. Let me create some space over here to create the graph. So let's say, for example, you have x here, you have now what does this say? That as x moves towards 0, so what are the values which x has? Now obviously x can have two set of values. This is the entire axis, one which are less than 0, this is the point which will lie on this side, the others which are greater than 0, obviously these lies on this side. So let's say 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. So now what is, okay, let me just draw this out here also. Let's take a scale of 2, right? So what's the value of y? This basically, this function is referred to as the y, right? So when x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, so this will lie somewhere over here. When x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4 is going to lie somewhere here. x3, y 9, x3, y is 9, right? When you connect these dots, right, and let's say when x is 0.01, this is y is equal to 0.001. So let's say if it is this, then ideally this is here. Let me use a different color to draw this, right? Okay, now let's see the values on the negative side. So when this x is equal to minus 0.01, which is here, y is equal to 0.001, okay, x minus 1, y 1, 1, minus 1, f minus 2, 4, minus 2, 4, f minus 3, here it is 9. So this is the graph which is there, right? Please note that this graph does not touch 0, right? So when we say as x moves towards 0, x is not equal to 0 in this case, right? As x has moved towards 0, the function also moves towards 0. So that's what we saw. As x moves from 4 towards 0, the value of y also decreased from this and it went down very close to 0. Similarly, when x moved towards 0 from the negative zone, again the value of y also again decreased and came down to very close to 0, right? And this line is known as y is equal to x squared, right? So this is how basically you kind to understand the concept of limit.